was suggesting that we be careful when we read about the universe being reflected in infinite consciousness. We don't want to get into this idea that there's a universe and that there's a consciousness. That they're non-different. And the Yoga Vasistha gets to this point as well. Here we go. Consciousness reflecting in consciousness shines as consciousness and exists as consciousness. So it's consciousness reflecting in consciousness. That's what's happening when we say the universe is reflected in the infinite consciousness. It's like our awareness is a mirror, and within that awareness everything arises. And if there wasn't that awareness, nothing would arise. When we say we're aware of something, there's not two different things going on. We could say there's awareness, or we could say there's the thing that we're aware of. Although when we say we're aware of something, we're introducing ourselves, aren't we? There's just simply what is happening. There's awareness of what is happening, and there's what is happening. We can talk about both of them, but they're the same thing. So this is consciousness reflecting in consciousness. It shines as consciousness and exists as consciousness. It shines as consciousness. Well, first of all, it shines because it shines with awareness. If it didn't shine with awareness, then we wouldn't be aware of it. And it's all just consciousness. So it's quite a difficult statement, that, but it's boiling down to the fact that there's only consciousness, and we shouldn't be getting caught up in ideas of being conscious of something, of being aware of something. Yet, to one who is ignorant, though considering oneself as wise and rational, there arises the notion that there's come into being and there exists something other than this consciousness. And I suppose this is most people, including scientists. We assume that they've got the notion that there exists something other than this consciousness. They have the notion that there's somebody here conscious of something out there. To the ignorant, this consciousness appears as a terrible world appearance. To the wise, the same consciousness appears as the one self. This consciousness alone is known as pure experiencing. And it is thanks to it that the sun shines and all beings enjoy life here. I've often referred to it as the field of experiencing, or the stream of experiencing. It's simply experiencing, rather than talk about being aware of something. All that's happening is experiencing. There's things going on, and I don't just mean birds flying across the sky, cars down the road. There's a whole emotional aspect to the field of experiencing as well. It's all going on, and within all of that experiencing, we construct notions of the world, of ourselves, ideas, beliefs, and so on. When I say we construct, all that's happening is consciousness that's doing it. There's this aspect of consciousness called the cognitive process, which creates these ideas and has been described before as drawing a veil over the infinite nature of consciousness. But the infinite nature of consciousness is apparent. You know, it's just there's an infinite amount of stuff that we can be aware of. Consciousness accommodates it, just as space accommodates everything that exists. Consciousness is awareness of all of that. And it's thanks to it that the sun shines and all beings enjoy life here. This consciousness is not created, nor does it perish. It is eternal, and the world appearance is superimposed on it, even as waves in relation to the ocean. In that consciousness, when it is reflected within itself, there arises the I am notion, which gives rise to diversity. So here I am is the identification of the individual. As space, the same consciousness enables the seed to sprout. As air, it draws the sprout, as it were. As water, it nourishes it. As earth, it stabilizes it. And as light, the consciousness itself reveals the new life. It is the consciousness in the seed that in due course manifests as the fruit. And I think this is quite a wonderful passage. It's bringing in the elements, although it misses out fire for some reason. It could maybe have said that as air it draws the sprout, as heat, fire can be heat or warmth, it incubates the sprout or gives it life. We could say that awareness has got, it condenses, we can say it, we can describe it as condensing. It condenses into the elements which are increasingly more remote from itself. And this is all just simply a way of describing things. So we've got this notion of an object external to ourselves, solidity, that's the earth. And water is looser. Water is harder to pin down. It's not solid, it takes all sorts of different forms and behaviour. And we've got fire in the form of heat, which is part of our inner, it's bringing us closer to ourselves through the body, and it's a subtler element. And even subtler still is the air, which is the breathing. And subtler still is the space within which allows it all to be. And there's a very fine line, if there is one, between space and consciousness. And these elements which gradually become more solid are described here as what allows life to exist as well. So it's very intimate. There's a very intimate link being made between consciousness and the whole processes of life. The whole process of life is what makes the sun shine and all beings enjoy life here. This consciousness alone is the different seasons and their characteristics. It is on account of this consciousness that the entire universe exists as it does, supporting an infinite number of beings till the time of the cosmic dissolution. So that's consciousness. Which allows the universe to exist within it. The universe being the infinite variety of things that is going on.